several years ago, I was given a very big challenge to take 100 listings in 10 months for a $10,000 bet. And I took this bet and I transformed my business and my life around it on how to act. And I did. I took 103 listings in a 10-month period. And by doing that, I've tweaked and built and designed a system that now I'm coaching and teaching other agents how I did what I did and how they can, like, maybe not 100 listings right out the gate, right? But how they can become that stronger listing agent by being different, really dialing in each of the lead pillars and strategies around all of them to get the most return in listings that they possibly can. 100 listings in 10 months, that's 10 listings a month. That's 2 to 3 listing agreements signed per week.
We know all real estate agents want to acquire clients consistently so that they can grow their business and income for that great lifestyle. This broadcast brings you the best and top people in the industry to support that quest. This is Dave Fanale, and I'm here to bring you the Real Estate Skill Builder broadcast, Real Estate Talk TGIF, brought to you by Real Estate Skill Builder and Align, your premier real estate solution. Good morning, everybody. Again, it's Real Estate Talk TGIF, episode 393, which means it's 388 weeks in a row. We're over 7 years, and this is being broadcast today on December 5th, 2025. Here we are. So we have Sandee Payne with us, and today's guest, Sandee, is someone who didn't just build a real estate business. She built a listing machine. So get this, right? She took her background in design, her experience in the heavy military market, and turned it into a system that actually helps agents to stop dabbling, stop hiding behind the buyer work, right? And finally built a predictable, I can say that word, easy for me to say, predictable listing pipeline.
Yeah.
You call it the 100 listing mindset. And believe me, it's not motivation. It's all about execution. So Sandee, I'm really glad you're here. Thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here and share.
Yeah, this is going to be really exciting. Sandee and I met very quickly at the EXPCon this year through our mutual friend, Danny Burgess. And we're really excited to hear. So Sandee, before we get started, I ask everybody the same question every broadcast. What does TGIF stand for?
Well, technically, thank God it's Friday.
That's true. Technically, yep.
Yeah.
So that really is technically the correct answer. But when it comes to Real Estate Talk TGIF, it means thank God it's Fanale. I'm sorry, that's just the way it is.
Okay, I love it. I love it.
That's the way it is. Anyway, so Sandee, look, I always love to start with the story behind the person, right?
Yeah.
The real path that shaped who you are today and stuff. And here's what I'm generally curious about is you built this whole business around a listing mindset, which most agents talk about, but never actually get to do because they just talk about it and they're always getting ready to get ready, right? So as you tell your story, what was the moment or the shift that pushed you to plant your flag as a true listing agent and stay committed to that identity, even when the industry keeps trying to pull agents back into buyer work and busy work and all these coaches out there looking to get in your pocket and get your credit card and all that stuff? Tell me that whole story, that part of it.
Yeah, well, I, like you had mentioned, I started out, we're a military family, so we moved around a lot. And I always had an interior design passion, decorating passion. And I helped a lot of military families, just create their home, even though it was a temporary time. How do you make your home feel like home for your family? That was a huge piece of what I just enjoyed doing for my own family. And I extended that through other families through the military. And then when we got here to Texas, my husband, after some time, we decided it was time for him to retire after 23 years. And I had all of this talent, in design, informally. And I had actually started working for a home builder. So I was a sales rep at a model home. And I wound up doing a lot of work for custom home builders and even real estate agents. And so my first inkling of real estate agents was whose names were on the signs, right? Who was out there? Who was branded?
Right.
If you
was doing it, right?
Real estate agents, you usually were going on the ones that you saw their signs. So it was very clear to me, in order to be very successful in the business, a listing agent was basically the one that you needed to be. And so I leaned into that mindset from day one of being a real estate agent. I wanted to go after the listings. I wanted my sign in the yard. Maybe it was my ego, whatever. Type A. Like I wanted my sign in the yard. I wanted to have, a brand, and I wanted to be known so that when people wanted to sell their house, they would choose me. But I chose the name Designed to Sell because I did have that design element niche that was a differentiator. And I think it's obvious when you can get out of the norm, get out of the crowd of real estate agents and find that thing that makes you different, that has you elevate, or that niche, so that so-called niche. That is where you actually start to build that brand, being different and doing things unexpected, I guess you could say. Yeah. And so that's
So how did everything progress? I mean, you had a design business, and you started with that, and you helped a lot of people like be comfortable in their temporary home, which is so important. Thank you for doing that. That's very cool. And then it translated into your real estate business. And did you lead with the designing? Did you lead with that? Was that the lead? I mean, it says Designed to Sell. I get that, but was it something that people knew about from you, that we hear Sandee, they know they're going to get that? Or is that how it started?
Yes, I did have a local business, a brick and mortar, for 7 years. And so as we were ready to get into the real estate space and close down the so-called design business as a whole, it was I was already kind of an industry name in the way of the real estate housing market. And so I leaned into that, and it just kind of became this like, hey, I have all these abilities to help you with your home, whether you're selling, I can help you stage, declutter, like all the things. Or buying, I can help you design it, decorate it, like all of the things on both sides of a real estate transaction. And that's what I leaned into as my differentiator. And I led with that. Design has a lot to do with your marketing and your vision and the presentation and how people feel. A lot of elements of being a decorator that you can learn and really turn those into sales skills when you're looking for listings.
So basically, your objective in the very beginning of getting a real estate license was to be that listing agent, to have your name on that sign.
Yes.
Okay. A lot of agents, I would say most agents, really are taught, you start working with some buyers, up here, like maybe do some rentals, and then we'll get you into working with buyers, and we'll give you 5-year-old leads, and you can work on, look, there's gold in the old leads without question.
Yeah.
The question though here is, what's the identity shift that an agent that's just been working with buyers to become that listing agent, become the identity about building that listing driven business?
Yeah, I think there's a few things. Definitely having, working with buyers and sellers, there's two different skill sets. And buyers typically are ones that kind of come to you a little easier through leads, through leads from your team or your brokerage. Most of the systems out there are really generated on having you kind of tap into buyers. It's highly competitive. I feel like buyer work is actually a little more competitive than getting the listing, because so many agents are in these systems, and you're not the only one reaching out to these people. And so again, you're kind of in that ISA cold call mode, constantly. When you can shift and say, hey, I'm not going to sit there and compete after the same clients that maybe 30, 40 other agents are. I'm going to narrow that competitive role, and I'm going to go after the sellers, because most sellers are going to interview maybe 2 to 3 agents for a listing. And so I looked at it as, I have a better chance of winning against 2 or 3 agents than I do picking up the phone and trying to be different with scripts and, all the things that everybody else is doing. So I wanted to have that opportunity to present homes a little bit different, to market them a little different, to have an edge over the other real estate agents that I was competing with to get those listings. And I just found it naturally a little easier.
So in other words, what you had to do in the beginning is you had to have that differentiating point. I call it the art of differentiation, right?
Yeah.
You had to be different. So was it because of your reputation and design that got you your foot in the door? And if so, okay. So how would you suggest an agent that wants to get their foot in the door differentiates themselves? What's that mindset shift that they have to make? I mean, from being that, that listing agent, what is that shift that they have to make?
Yeah. I think it can be kind of two directions. If they don't feel like they have a niche, I definitely had a niche that I could lean into that I was
Right.
very
Right.
confident in speaking about. If they don't feel like they have a niche, what I recommend is, we all know what the standard agent, okay, a standard listing agent, put a sign in the yard, you have an open house, you take pictures, right? We all do the same thing. Like everybody's doing the same 10 services, let's call it. How can you take that service that seems standard to everyone else and elevate it? How can your conversation be a little different? How can your presentation be a little different? I always like to say, like, the first 3 conversations or scripts that you want to use when you talk to a seller, like, don't use them. Like, come up with the next one. And Dave, honestly, you just have to keep practicing. It's not going to happen overnight. You have to just you have to just go for it and learn. When I was in the beginning and I didn't win listings, I had to have the confidence to say, hey, I understand your decision. I appreciate you choosing who felt comfortable for you, but I'm always in the business to make myself better. Was there something that you found in that agent that you chose that I was lacking, because I would like to learn from the abilities that I have to learn as to how I can improve and maybe win the next time for someone else? And that's a hard question to ask a client that did not pick you. But it was very telling. Some of them were just like, were discounted. Like, it was a lot of like, well, I'm not discounted, And so sometimes it wasn't necessarily me. It was just something that I wasn't willing to do that another agent was willing to do. And repetition and being okay with hearing no a lot and not let that defeat you, because it is competitive to be the chosen listing agent.
So one of the important things everything you said was really important, really is sound, to be able to ask the question about what I could have done better or what I could have changed or why you picked the other agent over me. And we need to be really careful how we do that. That's an aside. I'm not talking about that now. The question of practice and understanding. So what I typically do is I will ask an agent, look, here's our listing presentation. Here's someone that's done it. Here's the printed version by, the greats that were out there that built the scripts. I personally like Bill Pipes, but his stuff. But I say, look, read this. Look at this. I want you to really think about this. And then what I want you to do is I want you to do it by like yourself. I want you to be you, right? For me, I'm able to have conversations with cold calling or whatever, because I'm just going to be me, right? I have a seller that I'm talking to that has a new house that he wants to sell, but it's a very, very high 7-figure number. And he says he wants me to be able to know what the house cost and how to cost it out. Because that's the only way you can show value. And I said, sir, I understand that, but most people are going to buy this house. They don't care what it cost. They just know that they love this house and they've got the cash to do it. So for me to go through that exercise doesn't make sense. But I'm going to be honest with him, and I have been honest with him to tell him that that's not the way it's going to work. But I understand how you want that. So let's get together and go through that process with you. You can never tell them that they're wrong, right? You can just tell them that might be a different process you might want to consider, right? Now, when you're generating these leads or you're generating that appointment, are you doing it through referrals or are you doing it through any type of cold reach out?
All of it. So a lot of my business now is Sphere, past client and agent referrals, obviously after 12 years of building. But I am also one that I am going after the expireds, the cancels. Like, I am in the everyday hustle, just like any other prospecting agent. A lot of the business that I have that is on repeat and referral came from doing the hard work, doing that mundane, tiring work, the picking up the phones, the making the calls, the door knocking, the open house, like all that repetition that acquired those agents that now 8 years later, I help them buy a house. 8 years later, I'm selling it for them and I'm helping their child buy a house. Like, that comes down the line. And I think a lot of agents think I'm going to get my license and all my friends are going to use me to help them, everybody I know. And it doesn't work like that, unfortunately. And that's kind of why I wanted to skip the line. Like I was saying, like everybody kind of says, be a buyer agent first. I'm like, I don't want to do that. I want to skip the line. I want to just start being a listing agent and get to that finish line as a great listing agent a lot faster. And of course, with all listings you have buyers come from them. So that's not where I put my energy. I just put it on the listing side.
Right. So look, you're going to get buyers from your listings to begin with. So, I mean, if you don't want to do that, you can always, have people on your team, you can refer it, whatever it is, a lot of different ways to do that nowadays. So there's a lot of ways that we need to lead generate. Okay. You had to get into this a certain way, and you have a process, which we're going to talk about in a few minutes. And one of the most important things that I've always seen is, okay, we have to figure out what our numbers are. Okay. Everybody says know your numbers, right? That means a lot. That can mean an awful lot. When we talk about lead generation, you do it in so many different ways. You're making calls. And a FSBO, some people call it a cold call. I call it a warm call because you already know they want to sell their house. So talk to me about the number of calls, the process, the cadence that you're going to go through to build this listing agent system.
Yeah. I look at every time I have a conversation, it's a $10,000 conversation. It's a mindset. Okay. Because to me, that's a commission check on the other side of that conversation. And that conversation may need to be nurtured. But if somebody said, hey, I'm going to give you $10,000 if you just call this person every week until they decide to work with you, like that's ultimately what we're doing. We're holding ourselves accountable and say, hey, I'm not going to call you and you're not going to make a decision today. But if I continue to call you, at some point, you're going to make a decision and it will be my $10,000 check, right? That comes. And so I think just mindset of every time you don't pick up the phone, you're handing another agent your commission check. And so
how often do you call them, Sandee?
Every day.
Even if they don't pick up the phone?
Every day. Yeah.
Even if they don't pick up the phone?
I will call them. I will text them. I will video message them. I will email them. I will mail stuff to their house. I will knock on their door if I have to knock on their door. I'll visit them in person.
So is it strange to have called them 10, 15, 20 times before you have a conversation?
No, I don't think so at all. They don't know me. I'm a stranger.
Right. See, I want everybody to think about that question.
Yeah.
Right. I want everybody to think about that question and think about the answer, because like a lot of systems, and look, I use a CRM system that's phenomenal. It'll tell me how many calls I made, how many texts I made, how many emails I sent. Right. And we see in our team, in our system, in our group, we see agents that have called 20, 30, 40 times before they get anywhere with them. Right. And that's what it takes. But a lot of agents say, well, they don't pick up the phone. I'm not going to call them.
Yeah.
But they do see your number coming up all the time, one way or the other, right?
Yeah. So it's kind of like subliminal branding, right? Like we're all strangers on the first phone call. Just like if a phone rang and I don't recognize the number, I'm going to answer it. Probably not interested in what they're trying to sell me. Right. And a lot of them won't ever call me back, especially if I say don't call me back, they're not going to call me back. But most people aren't going to say, don't call me back. They're just going to say, I'm not interested, or this isn't the right time. I'm not, it's just not the right time. I take it for exactly what it is. Okay. Well, as long as I make sure you get to know me and I am the one when it is the right time and you haven't told me anything terrible or mean, which I have made the hundreds of thousands of calls. And I think maybe twice someone's been ultimately nasty. But other than that, I just like, great. I just want to be your go-to. I just want to be top of mind. I'll touch base with you in a few months and see, just to make sure that we stay connected. I think it's in the delivery. It's fun that you brought up Bill Pipes. I've learned a lot from him. He's the reason I joined the Tom Ferry coaching 10 years ago. I learned so much from him, and scripts are important, and I don't want to say like, don't use the scripts. Scripts are very important. The how you use the scripts and the delivery of the conversation is actually the ultimate skill that you're learning from scripting and from the practice. I do a lot of expired and cancels, very, very a lot. It's a big piece of my business, but I also am not asking them the question, everyone, I saw your house came off the market yesterday. Are you still thinking of selling? Like, that's not the conversation I'm having with them. After making hundreds of thousands of calls, I realized, probably well before that, that was not getting me the answer I wanted. And so I thought, I'm just going to change it up. I'm just going to try different scripts, and something's going to stick. And I'm going to use this script for the next 100 calls. And I'm going to see how people react to what I say. And then if that doesn't work, I'm going to try the next script. But a lot of people, Dave, will call 1 or 2 times and they get defeated way, way, way too fast. And I think just repetition, practice, confidence, you start to learn what works. You start to learn people. We talked about this, you and I, the other day. Not everybody's the same person. You have to really try to identify. The more you call, the more you'll learn who it is you're actually communicating with. Right. And then you can start to pivot. You can start to change how you address these people. The same script doesn't work on everybody. It just takes time, which is something a lot of agents aren't willing to put in, unfortunately.
Well, they're not willing to put in the time because they don't realize that this is their business. And look, I always say to agents, Sandee, let's call it a 9-to-5 business. You show up, you start working at 9, you work all day long until 5 o'clock, and then you pack up and go home. And then you keep doing that every day and be consistent, because at a regular job, you're going to be doing that and you're going to be paid on your performance. The question is your boss, your manager, whoever it is, watching out for what you're doing, and do you have the support or the leverage that you need? Right. And the bottom line is that you are your own boss, and do you suck as your own boss?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So Sandee, what comes to mind, the question that comes to mind is, what script did work for you?
Yeah. I wouldn't say I have one. I have many, because I'm getting very good at however you answer the phone. I know exactly what to say to you next within seconds. But one of them, and I'll just kind of share it. It just will show you the framing of the differentiation, right? Just being right. Everything I do, Dave, I think, what is the experience? What is the experience the recipient is receiving through my voice, through my tone, through the mail? Like, is it an experience that's different? Can they feel it? Is it emotion, right? It's that connection. I'm not selling. Yep. I'm creating an experience, because we all know people make decisions on emotion, right? Not the sale, not the pitch. They want the emotion. That's how we make decisions. So one of them that I use often is, hey, Dave, Sandee Payne from Design to Sell Real Estate Group. Just calling to check on you. How are you feeling today? And it's very weird, because they're like, fine. And I'm like, okay. I thought you would be maybe a little disappointed, or maybe even upset that your house didn't sell, after 172 days on the market, Dave, and 3 price drops. You don't sound very emotional over that. And they might be like, oh, that's what you're talking, right? So it's something different. It's not, I have a buyer, can I see your house, and then I'm going to try to snake in and be a listing agent. I'm trying to connect with you on emotion. And a lot of times people be like, wow, it's not a great day, or we're fine, it didn't sell, and they'll just start to as soon as you can kind of tap into them in a different experiential way through emotion and caring, we actually truly, genuinely in our being have to care about the person we're ready to call. We have to be ready to have a strategy. We have to be ready to find a solution, to flip the emotion, to get them back on track with the idea that they had the first time they wanted to try to sell. And we're not going to do that by, I saw your house came off the market yesterday, are you still thinking of selling? Like, that's not going to put it there.
Yeah. One of the things that I see a lot, because I work with a lot of agents that are just having trouble getting over that hurdle, getting through that roadblock of not knowing what to say first. And 2, when they think they know what to say, they sound like a robot. And 3, the attitude, the mindset. And the attitude and the mindset is, I need to get a deal, or these people don't want to talk to me, or the one for the most part is, the desperate ones, the ones that are making the calls, but they can't seem to get through. What's the change that these type of people, these types of agents have to make? Is there one thing? What is it? Is it just being different, or what is it?
Yeah, I think it's their mindset, right? Like, I am so confident in my business and what I bring to my listing clients that I consider myself a gift to them. I'm a gift. I'm the gift you haven't opened yet. You just don't know. And my job is to entice you to the gift. You're going to have the best experience. You're going to be well communicated with. Your presentation is going to be beautiful. The market's going to love your house. We're going to get you the price that you want. We're going to negotiate strongly for you. And I know that. I know that. They just don't know it yet. And so I have to deliver that value to them. Like I'm delivering my services as a gift to them. And
So
it's not out of desperation. Yeah.
So when you're calling them, you're just not going to say, well, I know this and I know that, because let's all face it. I mean, you have to get there through questions. You can't get there through telling them that you're going to do this, because they say, oh, that's a bunch of crap.
Right. Yeah.
So how do you get there in that conversation once you get through the opener?
Yeah. Well, typically I have a rule. I have to set the appointment or get the next step confirmed within 3 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So I actually have a physical like hourglass timer. It's a 3-minute timer. And we do this exercise with my team. I need to get you to agree to do something with me next, whether it's an appointment, whether I can email you something, whether I can deliver something to you. I need you to say that it's okay for me to do something. It's their opt-in to continue to hear from me. No different than an opt-in on a text message or anything else, right? I want them to get into a space where they can agree for me to do something. Ideally, it's, there's a lot to cover. I would love to present this to you, face to face. It's just a strategy session. There's no commitment. I just want to deliver to you the experience that you should have when you're selling your home. And if it's something we want to do together, then we can do it together. If not, you at least know what you should be experiencing in order to do so.
Right.
And a lot of times it's an unthreatening conversation that I meet them at their house. Other than that, it's hey, would it be okay if I send you over our strategy package? We're going to outline a little bit as to some things that we do that have shown success for people like you who their house hasn't sold, the things we did different, and the results that we had. That way you can see that we work with people just like you. So again, making that like connection with them. And can I just send you over an email? It'll just walk you through some of the examples that to show you our success and whatever it is, the reason that they didn't sell. We decided not to move, like whatever our initial conversation is. I have pieces or I create a piece, right? Sometimes I'm still in like, okay, I don't have anything to send you, but I'm going to darn make something and get their yes to mail them something, yes to email them something. And then from there, it's just drip, drip, drip. Send them a video on the phone, make sure they save your contact, like all the things to stay in front of them.
Okay. So, all right. So let's go through another scenario. You get that permission to email it to them. You have another conversation. You get to know them a little bit. You go to reconnect with them and they don't pick up the phone. What's next?
Yeah. I video them. I send them a video, like right through my phone. No links, no looms, no whatever. And it's very, very personal. I make sure that I say their names. I make sure that I talk about our last discussion. I make sure I remind them that I delivered what they said to deliver and that I'm here to help them in any way. There's no question that's silly. There's no conversation that's not strategic, and I just really open the door for them to be comfortable to reciprocate, because it's all about reciprocation. If they get something from me, they're going to feel compelled to give me something back, even if it's just a question, that I pose.
Right.
Hey, going through the research, I see, XYZ. Have there been any updates that you've done with the home that maybe you haven't identified the value in the sales price? I'm always looking for that. How can I get them to respond and reciprocate with me? And once you can start to get that volley going back and forth, and you start working together without asking for the business, they all of a sudden, that trust will rise. That doubt and fear will lower, that relationship starts to get built, and then it's go from there. But it can be 20 efforts. Like it can be attempts like over and over to find that one thing that's going to get them to actually respond.
So, okay. So we get them to respond. They pick up the phone. You have conversations with them. The biggest problem, there's a lot of problems, right, with agents.
I don't see them as problems.
No, I don't mean that. I mean, there's a lot of conversion points. Okay, that's what I mean.
So many.
So you got to convert to talk to them. You got to convert to a conversation. You got to convert to them accepting your information. You have to convert to the appointment.
Yes.
And one of the things that we're seeing is people are making the calls, but they're not converting to an appointment. Right. And that you just answered that question, by the way, on how to get to that point. But you also need to ask for the appointment. Don't you do that on a regular basis in your conversations?
Yes, that is always what I'm going for. Within that 3 minutes, I'm always going for, hey, I really think we have a lot to talk about. I believe the next beneficial step is for us to sit down and just lay it all out. And let's just see if a new strategy is something that you're looking for. And honestly, I can usually, they're like, okay, that's fine. Great.
That's great.
I have Tuesday at 4. Yeah. Or whatever the date is. Yeah.
So you've converted to the appointment.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing between you just hang up the phone to the appointment? Yeah. Tell me that.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you asked that, because I think this is a big thing. I think this is the pre-listing. I don't even need to go on listing appointments because my pre-listing is so good. Like the appointment, it's a signing appointment. It's not a listing appointment. That's already covered. I have probably about 12 things that I go through in a pre-listing. So this is appointment to front door, 12 different steps that I take. 1, thorough research on who they are. LinkedIn, Google, find everything you can find out about them. They are researching you. And if it's public information, you have every right to research them. What do they wear? What do they eat? How do they dress? Where do they work? All of these are indicators of their personality type. What I'm trying to do in this moment is say, okay, how do I speak to this person? How do I respond to this person? What is our communication dialogue going to be based on their personality type? We all have a listing presentation. Do we have four different ways of presenting it to the right personality type? So if we're not taking the time to identify who we're going to be working with, how do we know how to present the best value to them? Okay, so that's number 1, thorough research on the people. Thorough research on the home. We all do that. Go to your CMA, go to your CRM, your MLS, do your tax records, all the historical. But what I find the most interesting is, Dave, is the only information I can find, especially photos, is past photos. I don't know what they've done to their home. I don't know how they live. Are they cluttered? Do they I don't know how they live. I want to make sure when I walk in that front door that I have every piece of knowledge that I can to have a strategy for that person designed to work. Too many times do we pause between conversation and front door. We're ready to go. We think we have the best presentation. We've got all the numbers. We've got our quick CMAs and our RPR reports. And this is our flyer. This is how it's all going to look. And we walk in that front door and we're like, oh my God. This isn't anything I thought it was going to be. Then we wonder why we can't have them sign, why they have to think about it, pray about all the excuses and challenges and objections start to go because you just walked in the door and went like, oh my gosh, I'm not prepared. Your body says, I actually am not prepared for what I just walked into. So I will ask them to send me photos. I will ask them to get on FaceTime calls with me and walk me through your home.
Wow.
And it's real easy, Dave. I just say, Dave, we have an appointment. I know we're meeting Friday at 4:00. It's Wednesday. I've gone through all the historical, but I really want to come with a proper strategy for you and your home, the actual home we're selling in the condition that it is. Do you think it'd be okay that we can just maybe get on a video tonight, just 5 minutes? Can you just walk me through your home? Because I need to get my eyes inside the door because otherwise I'm coming to your house and I don't know what I'm looking at. I'd like to see inside before I get there so I can bring us really relevant information. And 99% of the time they will be like, absolutely. No one else has asked me to do that before. Like that makes total sense. How could someone just walk in the front door and have all the information when they've never walked in the door before? So again, we're leaning into this volley. We're starting working together before I even ask them to sign. They've FaceTimed with me. I see inside their home. Don't expect a beautiful video walkthrough. Terrifying. Most of them but I'll say to them, hey, if there's something that you've done or improved that I wouldn't know from looking at the data, pause on that for a minute. Talk to me about that. So I get them doing a virtual walkthrough of their home, showing me their favorite spaces. What's the favorite room in your house? I'm bringing them emotionally into telling me a story about their home. So now my eyes are in there. I'm learning the storytelling. I'm sharing what's important with them. I'm learning about the features of their home. So now I take that information and can actually deliver a strategy that speaks to them in the way they just spoke to me. So by the time I get to the door, I am so excited we are finally meeting in person. Like, let's get to work. It's a let's get to work mentality. We're doing this thing. I'm not waiting. I don't do a handshake at the door. Like I want like one of the, like a hug or like, oh my gosh, it's so great to meet you in person. Like, let's get going. Like I want that, like, come on in and let's get this show on the road.
Yeah, you know what I love about this is one of the things that I've learned over the years is that people talk about, well, you know, Zillow says my home is this, or Zillow says this, or Redfin says this, and all this. And I always say to them, one of the things I always say, you know, the only difference between me and Zillow is that the only difference between Zillow and you is that Zillow has not seen your house.
Yeah.
They've seen data.
When's your appointment with Zillow? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point, right? And what you've done is you've just jumped over Zillow. Now you're more important than what they're reading on a Zestimate or any estimate from Realtor.com or any other thing. What's next?
Yeah, actually, I'm better than any other realtor because they haven't gotten their eyes in their house. So right there, differentiator, right? Because in their mind, even if they have 3 more realtors that they've met with or they're going to meet with, they'll be like, huh, none of them did that. How did they come up with those numbers? They've never been in my house. That doesn't even make sense. At least I know when she comes to my house, she's delivering me information that like is relevant to me, right? And so, yeah, so there's just a lot of those just continual questions. Make sure you're talking to them, communicate with them. Hey, I'm sending you a quick video. I don't want to be weird when I get to the door that like, you don't know what I look like and I don't know what you look like. So I would love for you to just send me a quick intro back so that I know who is going to be answering the door when I show up, right? Again, back and forth.
That is so valuable because one of the things I've done and I've coached agents to do is, you know, send them the video of yourself, because here's the differentiator that you just started with the video, right? Number one, if you've got 2 other agents you're going against, when you're walking up the door, instead of saying, oh, that must be the realtor, they're saying, oh, Sandee's here.
Yes.
Huge. Absolutely.
A lot of times they're like opening the door, like they know I'm coming and they're watching for me and they're waiting for me and they're opening the door. Like I don't even have to ring the doorbell. Like if you when you start to do these things, Dave, over and over, you start to know when exactly, like, do you think I'm going to go in there and lay out a 40-page listing presentation to that person? I'm going to talk myself right out of the signing. Right. Like we're going in there, we are getting a business, we are talking strategy, what needs to be done, how we're going to get on the market. Let's get the calendar open, you know, and let's start working. Oh, and by the way, before I leave, we should probably sign this thing, right? In order to like officially like click start on all of this.
Here's the interesting thing, and the most important thing about this is that you really have already done the listing presentation before you even got there.
Oh yeah,
like, you've already presented because they're not working with let's just use a name, Coldwell Banker or Century 21. No, they're working with Sandee. They're not working with an EXP agent or a real agent. They're working with Sandee, right?
I am presenting me. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I'm not presenting a presentation. I am presenting them what they get when they hire me, the experience that they get to experience when they choose me. I'm selling myself. I'm presenting me, and I come with this caliber or this resume of services that I provide.
Yeah, and this is actually one of the things I've always talked about, and I mentioned it earlier. This is the art of differentiation at work, plain and simple. Because I have not, I mean, being different, I'm not very different. You know, there's not a lot of guys doing a broadcast like this every week, but I know it's very different what you're doing, and it's so important for you to do that because you've, like I said, they're all ready to work with you. They're opening the door as you're walking up the sidewalk or walking up from the street.
Oh, and I'm like, if they're a shoe girl, I'm a shoe girl. If I notice in all their pictures they've got big bulky earrings, I will be wearing earring. Oh, girl, I am before I get there, like. And I say mostly women, but I'll do the same thing with guys. Like I can identify them. If they have pets, I'm ready for their dog. Like whatever it is, I'm ready to connect with everyone. Like, oh my gosh, love your dog. I love dogs. What's his name? I spend a minute there. You know, rather than like pushing the dog away. If I know their dog's important to them, I'm gonna spend a minute with the thing that's important to them and make that connection.
So here's the real important thing. I want to take that and dissect that just for a minute, right? Whenever I've talked to people when they're going to their listing presentation and people say, you know, why don't you take me through your home, right? And I always say, you know, if you see things on the wall or you see things, just start talking about it. Have conversation. Be real. Be yourself. Yes. But what you're doing here is so much the same thing, but much better in that you know already before you go in there, like a dog. I mean, you might have a treat for the dog. Who knows, right? you might have, you're just going to be ready. And
Mhm.
it's just there. It's so powerful what you're talking about and how you're doing and
Yeah.
doing it and stuff. I mean, for me, I mean, I could have a conversation with a wall if I saw something, right? I can just take something and I could even, I'm really good at acting different ways and I
Yeah.
can do that. And I think that's salesmanship, I think,
It is. It is salesmanship.
and
Yeah.
but you're already prepared. So if
Yeah.
you didn't know something about something, you might know it, right?
Yeah.
For instance, for me to connect with most men is going to be either sports,
Right.
music, right?
Right.
So two of my biggest things I love, and I'm able to talk about any of it. And then if it's someone, my contemporary, it's, I can talk about music and say, what do you think of this music out today? I can say something like that.
Right.
And
Exactly. And to your point, like say for instance, Dave, I did my research on you and like you were a car guy. It was very obvious you were a car guy. I wouldn't say like, I know you're a car guy. I would be like, all right, let me frame it like this. The reason why we have to declutter and we have to like simplify we need to get the most money. Dave, have you ever like traded in a car? And you're gonna be like, oh, I've traded in lots of cars. I'm like, okay, do you just like roll up to the dealership and like the Whataburger bags are falling out of the door and think they're gonna give you the most amount of money for your trade-in? No, Dave, what do you do? And then Dave proceeds to tell me, well, I get out the trash, I detail it, I get out the Q-tips and the air spray, and I mean, it is like new showroom quality. Perfect, Dave. And you're probably going to get the most trade-in for that, right? If you take the time to do all those little details, that's where the dollars are, right? And you're going to be like, yeah, I'm like, that's what we're going to do with your house. How does that sound? Connection, we get it. He gets it. He doesn't know that I know he's a car guy, but I've made a conversation with him because of the pre-research that I've done, that I know what his pieces are, and I know how to frame all the services that I provide around the conversation that I know he's going to relate to personally. And it's that subliminal trust factor that starts to weave.
So the one thing we have not mentioned as of yet that is glaring probably, and anybody that will watch this and is watching, is that how much are you using artificial intelligence?
Oh, that's a good question. Like every day, it's always up on my computer. It's always up on my computer. So I will use AI to do a million things. But one, it works a lot of my back end. There's a lot that I have automated that goes out automatically as far as any type of automation. I use ChatGPT and Perplexity and all those on a regular to help craft ideas, craft storylines, craft video scripts, anything, ad campaigns, like it's all out there. And what's really neat is you can actually here's what's cool that you can do AI with, put your listing presentation in it, and then take all the data that you did on the research, put Dave's Instagram handle in there, put Dave's website in there, put Dave's LinkedIn in there, and then you can ask ChatGPT to say, hey, I need to craft this conversation of my presentation around this guy, Dave. Can you blend the two and tell me where I should be focusing my time to speak directly to Dave when it comes to my presentation?
Now, when you talk about your presentation, are you talking about the script that you're using? Or are you talking about your actual presentation of, your glossy photos and all that fun stuff? And
yeah, so I have like a beautiful like presentation booklet basically that's handed to them that talks about staging, how we price strategy, all the things.
Right.
The things, how we collect the data, right? It covers all the bases. But I'm not going to sit there and go through 40 pages with you.
Exactly.
I know if we identified that you're most important on your net dollar and getting the most out of your house, that's what I'm going to focus my conversation on.
Okay. So
Yeah.
Is there any huge difference from the presentation? Does it change a lot when you're using ChatGPT or Gemini or Perplexity?
Yeah. Sometimes it'll tweak. A lot of times, like if you do it enough, you'll start to realize like, okay, if I've got a client like this is the direction I'm going to go. But it helps identify them. I think it takes minutes. I mean, it's minutes. You can even ask it at that point. Hey, I want to craft an email to show value to Dave before I get there in my pre-listing strategy. Can you give me 3 or 4 good email scripts that would resonate with Dave so that we can start a dialogue conversation before I get to the door? I mean, it's genius we don't have to get into avatars and like just in
Right.
itself
Right.
of helping, making identification and conversation it's so good.
Yeah. I mean, I go through, I use it every day as well. And I go through, like, for instance, you and me, we had really only met for like 3 seconds. Right.
Yeah.
And so we have a, what I call a pre-production meeting. We did that the other day. Before I have that, I'm doing whatever research I can to find out something about you if I don't know you. Right. I put all our notes together and I put it back into there, and then I get more information. Right. And then I craft where I want the conversation to go. Then at the end, it helps me. Like, for instance, it suggested, do you want me to do an email to send out to everybody on your list to send out the information about Sandee? And I said, yeah, let's do it. Right. It's so helpful, and it gives you so many ideas. Okay. So look, we've gone on and on about this topic, and this has been really, really cool.
There's so much to share.
A lot of things. And I'm going to be honest with you, Sandee, I'm a very selfish individual. Why am I selfish? Because I want the information that you've given me today so that I can help the people that I work with on a regular basis, because it is different and I am different. But I want to talk to 0 to 100, because we've got that on the screen now, everybody. Let's put that out there. 0 to 100. Talk to me about what that is and what agents can do to get involved with what you're doing and how you're helping people.
So it has developed over the last few years. Several years ago, I was given a very big challenge to take 100 listings in 10 months for a $10,000 bet. And I took this bet and I transformed my business and my life around it on how to act. And I did. I took 103 listings in a 10-month period. And by doing that, I've tweaked and built and designed a system that now I'm coaching and teaching other agents how I did what I did and how they can, maybe not 100 listings right out the gate, right? But how they can become that stronger listing agent by being different, really dialing in each of the lead pillars and strategies around all of them to get the most return in listings that they possibly can. And so I've developed the 0 to 100 listing challenge. So it's a 10-month challenge. It's a personal challenge for yourself. We are going to have different lead pillars every 10 months. We've got a few coaches in there. Additional, Danny Burgess is one of them, how we met, and Ryan Real. Also, they all have beautiful coaching histories. You get 3 coaches. You're going to get all the scripts. You're going to have monthly courses on how to build out your perfect SOP for each of the listing lead pillars. We'll talk, we've got weekly coaching calls. We've got master industry leaders coming in and sharing their knowledge with the competitors as well. So it's going to be super fun, super affordable. And we're really hoping agents can, whether you're a solo agent or you're part of a team, it's for everyone. You can join in. We actually start January 1st. So it is a New Year's Eve ball drop game start. And we will be helping you and coaching you through our portal, our challenge portal, along with Sisu as our platform of KPI metrics and leaderboards. So it's gonna be really fun.
So I got to ask you about the bet you made. So you made the bet. Don't even know about the bet. What I need to know is, that's a pretty big bet.
It is.
That's 10 grand for 100 listings in 10 months. How did you start?
I cried. The first thing I did was I cried. No, when I realized what I did, I thought, oh my gosh, what on earth? I'm insane. This is insane. But I knew I could do it. And I think that was like the biggest thing. I'm like, I can do it. It's all there. Like, it's all here. It's all online. It's all I have the resources there. I just have to figure out what to do with it all and how to get it into like a system that's repeatable, scalable, manageable, and it just starts to run itself like a machine, literally a machine. And so the first thing I had to do is I had to know my math. Like you said, know your numbers. This is really easy for real estate agents too. It's easy math. 100 listings in 10 months. That's 10 listings a month. That's 2 to 3 listing agreements signed per week. That means you probably need a listing appointment every day of the week, which sounds like a lot.
How do you do that?
I know, because we spend so much time in our businesses not focusing every minute of our business on an activity that will produce an opportunity to list a home.
So you don't have time for this getting ready to get ready BS, do you?
No. It is everything filters through my brain and did during that time. Is this activity going to lead me towards an opportunity to talk to someone about listing their home? Is this social media post that I'm getting ready to post going to be towards the value of directing someone to list their home with me? Is this conversation I'm having? Is this call I'm having? Is this Taco Tuesday at the title company outing for 3 hours going to get me a listing appointment? It's not. So I'm not doing that. I'm not doing the things that aren't going to get me towards a listing appointment opportunity. Am I going to do open houses? You bet. Am I going to put a house, am I going to do an open house on Saturday and market it on Friday? No, because no one's coming. So I'm going to dial in a 2-week pre-open house listing launch party where everyone and their mother knows I'm having an open house so that I have an opportunity to showcase myself different to the entire community, how I do a listing, differentiate. Everything I did was about how do I differentiate? How do I get the most eyes on me as a listing agent? So when people want me to list, they see me everywhere. They see me on social. They see me in the community. They see me at their front door. They see me doing videos walking through their neighborhood. They see me everywhere that they turn. And if what I was doing was not aimed at that, I did not do it.
I want everybody that was watching this now or later to understand what the hell you're listening to. You're looking at something that's someone is not going to waste any freaking time. They're going to do what they need to do to achieve a goal, and they're not going to let any bullshit stuff get in the way. Okay? Yes. This is a very open forum. We can talk any way we want. Yeah. So the point I want to make to everybody watching this is that if it's not going to move the needle to what you want to get, don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it. I mean, there's something here in New Jersey that happens every year. It's in December. They call it the Triple Play Convention, which is New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. I call it the Triple Play Distraction, right? I used to go all the time. I still will go for one day, but it's a distraction. People that go there, half of them don't even go to the convention, right? I'm telling people, don't go. Absolutely do not go. It is not going to move your business forward. Oh, you're going to go for the networking. Bullshit. You're going to get drunk. Just don't do it. Yeah. Right? That's it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Which brings up a really good point, because it's not just the grind of our real estate business, Dave, that needs to be adjusted. Is that second glass of wine at 9 o'clock at night going to make you in peak performance to get up and perform in the morning to get that listing appointment? Are you getting up dressed and ready that if your phone rings, are you presentable, ready to go on a listing appointment? Or did you show up in jogging pants with your hair pulled back? Everything you do from the minute you wake up to the minute you fall asleep, you have to think, is this action? Is this cheeseburger? Is this workout? Is it like all the excuses that people, you said open forum, I'm open. All the excuses that agents make to not do what they're supposed to do is to get a listing appointment. Everything from the minute they wake up to the minute they fall asleep. This challenge is all encompassing. We are not just talking real estate. We are talking life. We are talking wealth. We are talking health. We are talking mindset. And we are going to get agents straight here, and here to be the best listing agents they have ever imagined themselves to be.
This is pure passion of what you really want. And I can hear it in your voice. I see it in your face. I see it in your body language. And that's just also another really important thing on that FaceTime, to see them. They see your body language too. This has been really probably an eye-opening thing for me, simply because I'm able to take this and to really push this forward. I tell people when they come to work with me, I'm not for everybody, right? I'm going to push you in ways you've never been pushed before. I'm going to push you like an entrepreneur, like my dad pushed me, right? And it's not going to be fun sometimes. right? If you don't show up, I'm going to ask you what got in the way.
Yeah.
And if that keeps getting in the way, maybe we can't work together anymore. But here's the point.
We're going to fix
if
it.
you let something get in the way, you ain't getting that listing.
Yeah.
Right? So tell people how they can get involved in this, because we have the QR code up. We have the URL up.
Yes. And they can reach out to me. If they have questions, reach out to me. The website information's on there, but don't delay. Like if this even, I just say like, if this, it's $99 a month, guys. Like you can't eat, like one closing is like pays for the whole 10-month program. I mean, I am practically giving it away, but I can't just give it away. There's costs involved, so we have to recoup them, right? But I believe in what I've built, and I believe that I know in full confidence, like this is my listing appointment, that we do things differently and we do things different as a differentiator. And this experience is going to be something that is going to change their lives. So if they're feeling any, like, think about it, just pull the trigger and do it. I got a message from someone the other day and she said, this is the spark I needed. I said, look, you bring the spark. All we need you to do is bring the spark, the interest, the challenge itself, and the coaching behind it will help create your listing inferno. You will transform. And I mean that. It happened to me. I lived it. I'm doing the challenge with you. I am also going to strive to list 100 listings again this year. Like, we're doing this together. It's going to be fun competition. It's going to be celebratory. It's going to be a beautiful community. And I hope that if it's speaking to anybody, that they just invest in themselves a little bit of money and change their lives with us. Yeah.
I'm kind of just really happens to be speechless. So I love that you've been on. I love that you've shared so much of what you do with us, and I really want to thank you so much for that. Yeah. And you know, we're way over time, but that's okay. I just had a couple of quick things. One is the most important question I can ever ask you is, how can I help you grow your business?
Yeah. I think for me, just sharing this with as many people as you can. Like, we can change lives together. People just need to be ready to pull the trigger, and I'm here to help them.
So, okay, I had one other question. I lied. So I have one other question. How do I get someone to really understand that this is what it takes? How do I get through to the person that wants to make excuses, that is built on excuses their life? How do you get through to them? Can you? Is there a switch?
Yeah, I think they have to feel the change for themselves. They have to experience that it is possible for themselves. And they also need people to believe and reinforce in them that it is possible. And I think we're missing that in a lot of the industry and a lot of our business and our lives in general. We need people on our side. We need people to believe in us and encourage us and reinforce us when we're having a tough day. And that's what this community is going to be built around, is just agents lifting agents and celebrating each other for all the wins. We're not putting anybody down in this challenge. This is going to be a, how can we help you? You've fallen off the wagon. Let's get you back on board. We're all here to reach up and pull you up with us. So
this is exciting. And last but not least, you didn't know about this, but everybody comes on a broadcast gets a hat. So the hat is, and this matches, if you're a Dallas fan, it matches their colors. So
I'm not, but I will wear it.
Good. I'm glad you're not a Dallas fan, because up here in New Jersey, we're basically Jets or Giants fans.
I'm an Eagles fan, so you're.
Oh no, that's really not good either. So I'm sorry. We'll still send you that.
Talk about that at the beginning of this. You wouldn't have let me talk so long.
No, that's not true. That's not true. A sports fan is a sports fan. Thank you so much for coming on. We got another great show for you all next week. Next week is 394. We got the holidays coming up. Everybody, God bless you all. Thanks for watching this. And just stay on for a minute as we go off there. Sandee, thank you so much.